There is a ridiculous comparison that I have seen throughout the season and lately between this year's Cavaliers team and the 2014-2015 Atlanta Hawks. We'll jump into that and more in just a second. We are kicking off a March Madness bracket for the channel. We've partnered with the Hot Takes app and other digest channels for this event. It's completely free to sign up. Just download the Hot Takes app, click the March Madness banner at the top, and under Groups, select the Digest Media Pool. This is really exciting, as there are over $25,000 in prizes to be won. And since there's a much smaller pool of people participating, there's a real chance in winning big compared to other bracket challenges. Check out the link below or scan the QR code to download the app. And make sure to use the promo code DIGEST in all caps to get exclusive perks when signing in. Again, completely free to sign up and a serious chance to win big. If you have any trouble, reach out to us in the email down below, and we're excited to see you in the March Madness pool. Welcome back to Cavs Digest, everybody. Billy BB back with you, excited to talk Cavaliers basketball as they got another awesome win against the Brooklyn Nets last night. We'll jump into that in just a second. We're going to talk about this ridiculous comparison. We talked about it a little bit. It was like a footnote in teams we could compare the Cavaliers to earlier in the season. Now it's making its round on Twitter right now, and I think it's just a hater thing right now. We'll get into that, but just a reminder, subscribe. Drop down in the comments. This is one where we got to let the rest of NBA Twitter put them back in their place with the Cavaliers, because I think they're getting bored of the Cavaliers achieving things, taking different things on, having accomplishments, so they're trying to kind of put them down as the playoffs are just 17 games away. The Cavaliers at 55-10. So I want to start off, before we get to the comparison that we have kind of planned out, I want to start off with the Cavaliers' win against the Brooklyn Nets, which was impressive. Once again, no Donovan Mitchell, no DeAndre Hunter, no Ty Jerome. Cavaliers down, I think 18 was the most they were down to the Brooklyn Nets. And with a 30-point performance from Darius Garland, they hang in there and they get the win. We've talked about checklists. We've talked about challenges the Cavaliers need to complete. We've gone through all those things. At this point in the season, with games like this, beating the Brooklyn Nets the way the Cavaliers did, they are embarrassing teams, and teams are embarrassing themselves. You should not lose to the Cavaliers that way. That's how talented the Cavs are at this point in the season. They are to the point, they're embarrassing teams in a way where, one team would embarrass another in Little League soccer or baseball or whatever, and the other moms turn into Karens and they start asking for birth certificates and what's going on here? How'd you beat us that bad? Is he the same age as the other kid? Shouldn't he be playing up a level? All those things. Private school, public school, all that junk. That's where other teams are at with the Cavaliers. They're embarrassing teams. No Donovan Mitchell, no DeAndre Hunter, no Ty Jerome. And you're just going to go out there and get housed on a Tuesday night in an 18-point comeback like that? With the main player, Darius Garland, the guy you probably think you should lock up, getting it done. It speaks to the Cavaliers. It speaks to Darius Garland, who got some kind words from Shaquille O'Neal after the game because of what he's done this season. And again, it was really, really great for the Cavaliers. They're going to continue to do things like this until they get the 1 seed. That was a question asked of me earlier in the week. How much longer will guys like this play and load management and sitting? They got to lock up the 1 seed. That's what matters, so we'll watch for that. Now, the comparison, as I said, that I saw on Twitter that was driving me nuts, the 14-15 Atlanta Hawks. You may remember them because they had all this hype. They won 60 games, 1 seed in the East. They played the Cavaliers, and what happened? Swept. LeBron swept them. They had the 4 All-Stars. I mean, there was hype there. They achieved some cool things. I think they had a couple guys that people really like, right? Pre-Boston, Al Horford was likable. Kyle Korver made his way to Cleveland. Paul Millsap's a 2K legend and kind of an NBA-ish joke legend. And then Jeff Teague, who's now just an elite podcaster, elite storyteller right now. They had these 4 guys, and it was a fun little story. What Cleveland's doing is not comparable. It's just not. So going over the only real connections these two have, the only way they are comparable, Cleveland could get 60 wins. I'd be surprised. I think they'll get more than that, but that could be about where they're at. Kenny Atkinson was actually an assistant on this team, so that kind of intermixes. DeMarre Carroll was on this team as a player. He's now a coach for the Cavaliers. That intermixes. I know there's been some Evan Mobley, Al Horford comparisons. We'll get into that in just a second. And again, I think overall, the shock, right, of just how it all happened, we didn't expect this from the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think that's part of it. Now, let's get into why these two are just really, really not comparable whatsoever. They are the 1 seed, too, in the East. I do want to note. Some from the outside could say, right, they're the 1 seed, but everyone knew LeBron and Cleveland were the real, favorites, real go-getters. They got swept by LeBron in the Eastern Conference Finals. Yes, swept, did not run a game. It'd be hard to believe the Cavs don't win a game. Even if they were to take on Boston and lose, it'd be hard to imagine they don't win a game. Going through the stats here, regular season-wise. Here's the big thing. Looking at this group. Looking at these All-Stars, as we mentioned. And we'll get to Coach Budenholzer later. There is no 20-point scorer on the screen right now. Get out of here. That's it. It's over. Cavs almost have 3 of them. 3 of them. Could have 4 if they really wanted. They really pushed the boundaries the way the Hawks had to get their wins, man. Cavaliers resting a lot of guys. There is no 20-point scorer in those 4 All-Stars in that season. None. Highest scoring player, 16.7 points per game, Paul Millsap. Not comparable whatsoever in that way. Secondly, if you look at the Cavaliers' big 4, the guys that make waves for them, right? I mean, they're big names. Number 1, I'm taking Evan Mobley over any player in that Hawks 4 guys. I'm taking Darius Garland over the Hawks 4 guys. I'm taking Donovan Mitchell over the Hawks 4 guys. So right away, 3 of the Cavaliers' 4 comparing to those 4, you're taking the Cavs 3 right away. Jarrett Allen, that was a big year for Horford. Millsap was a good NBA player. I mean, you can debate those back and forth. I still might take Jarrett Allen over any of those guys. So again, let's talk about not comparable whatsoever. This is one of the tweets that was going around. 60-plus wins and swept by a team that's 10 games worse. Again, there's no way Cleveland gets swept by Boston. That'd be unbelievable to me. If they don't win at least 2 games, I'd be shocked. If not winning. I have them winning the series, but I'm just saying. And then Twitter reacted accordingly. I think you remember those Hawks wrong. I think you misread who the Cavaliers are. I mean, again, if you look at that roster, I'm taking Mitchell, Garland, Mobley over anyone in that picture, and 4 of them were All-Stars at the time. This is not a good comparison for the Cavaliers. I know a lot of people want to wait and see with the Cavs on their playoff run, and I respect that. Atkinson, a Budenholzer apprentice and all that, but for the Cavaliers, and we did some other comparisons with some Donovan Mitchell Jazz teams. I've always liked the 15 Warriors team. I think that's a little more comparable, just how hot they've got, the continuity and the new coach thing. But the 2014-2015 Hawks, I'll pass on all that. Nice try, NBA Twitter. Can't get it past us. Be sure to subscribe. Drop down in the comments. Let's put NBA Twitter back in their place. Leave some comments as to what you think in this comparison and more on Cavs Digest.